Hi gang, so this week's topic on Channel Mum is Mum's the Word, and that is where we look at and discuss and debate topics that maybe you would normally only discuss with your friends. So divisive topics, things where people have really strong opinions, whether that be do you breastfeed, don't you breastfeed, should you use a dummy, a pacifier, whatever you call it, controlled crying, things like that. Should you go back to work? Shouldn't you go back to work? All these different topics. And my thoughts today, I want to discuss with you the going back to work or not going back to work thing. But I wanted to say overall, there's this level of guilt when you become a mum and you get bombarded with information on how to be the best mum or parent, how to be, what's going to make your child perfect and grow up right. And what I learned really quickly is you need to turn off the noise of all that and make your own decisions, because there is so many conflicting opinions and you have to know what works for you and your family, and what works for you and your family might not work for me and my family, and all of your friends around you will have different opinions on that. So there needs to be an understanding and hair on my face here, and a level of understanding of each other. Of course, we always give opinions and we always share things that have worked for us with our friends and family and people around us, but we just have to be careful of judgment, I think. So the topic I want to discuss, because it's a hot topic for me, it's something that I feel quite passionate about overall, because it sits alongside my feeling that we should live a life that we love, and it should light you up and you should wake up excited, and you shouldn't hate your day, you shouldn't be wishing for the bank holiday, you shouldn't be wishing for the weekend and hating your everyday. So that is always a topic of mine. So bringing this into the do you go back to work? When do you go back to work? My experience has been different because I've always been self-employed. However, things did change. So I was, up until the point of having my first daughter when I was 26, I was a TV actress, I was doing some radio stuff, I was also doing some promotional type work, so giving out freebies and working with brands and that kind of thing, and other little bits and pieces. And I felt when I was pregnant that I'd just keep going with that, yeah, I'd have a baby, but we just chuck that in the mix, not literally, and we would just, it'd be fine, I'd just work it, I'd find ways around it, would just be the same. And then when I had a baby, I tried that, because being self-employed, you don't get that time off, because there's no safety net. If you're not working, there's no money coming in, and so I just thought, yeah, just keep going, it'll be fine, and so I did that for the first few months and things. I was really, and maybe even the first year, I was really trying to juggle a million things and still be a mum, and starting to feel like I wasn't getting any of it right, because I was trying to keep things the same as they were before, and that wasn't going to happen. And I didn't really give myself any respite, because I just wanted to keep going, and I didn't really have the option to take time off as such, and I didn't necessarily want to. It's just that with acting, there's a level of having to keep networking and keep your face out there, and me and my husband had a conversation at the time, and we both kind of went, look, if we keep going like this, we're going to burn out. This is not working. And we looked at financially how it worked for us. And obviously, if I was working and Ross was working, we were bringing in more money. But we looked at it and we went, yeah, but we're also sacrificing time with our daughter. So there's that balance. And we decided that we would take off the pedal. Money would reduce, but we would get our payment in our time with our daughter. And we know that you can't get that time back. So for us, we made a conscious decision to do that. What happened was interesting, because what then started to happen was our lives just adapted and things changed in our worlds because of Ross's health. Then we had another daughter. But what actually happened is I really had a learning curve in terms of making your work fit around you and not being forced down a certain path because that's what everybody else does. So not thinking, oh, you've got to do this way and you've got to do it that way and you've got to have this set amount of maternity leave and this set amount of time after, and just going, what works for my family and how can I make money while also being able to be a mom? And I don't always get that right, but I've certainly, over the last 6 years of becoming a mom, have really shaped it and really learned to understand that I make this work. This runs on my time and your work can run on your time. You just have to figure out a way of doing that and what sits well for your family. Of course, I understand that not everybody is cut out to be a business owner or run their own business, but there are ways of being more more freelance or more flexible with your working patterns that still mean you could work for somebody else and you wouldn't have to do all that side of things. I'm not of the ethos of everybody can be self-employed. I don't think that's the way things work. I think we're all made very differently, and but I do think that you can start thinking a little bit differently. So if you're in a position where you've always done it a certain way and then you become a mom, well, it's going to get shook up a little bit, and it's a good thing. You get to consider what you really want and what works for you and your family. And if you want time with your kids and you decide, actually, I want to be a mom and I want to be at home and we have to make that work financially, then you do that and you enjoy it and you be unapologetic about that. If you decide that actually you want to go back to work and that works for you and financially that's better for you, and sometimes I know at the start that there isn't so much of a choice, but you make it work for you and you don't allow other people's voices into that, because you know what's right for you and your family, and if you've got a partner, then you work that together. And it shouldn't be this judgment about it, because there are pros and cons of both. You go back to work, great, you're a great role model, you're bringing in more money, you're showing your children that you can do this and they could do that, and you can balance that kind of thing. Great things happen in there. You get your own space. You don't always have to be around a child watching CBeebies. That can drive you insane when you're at home, then you might make the decision that you don't work at all and you are a full-time mom, and that is no mean feat. That is a hard job. So don't let anybody tell you that that is the easy option, because it's not. In fact, I'd arguably say that's the harder option. And if you want to do that, then do that. And the pros of that are, obviously, you get to be around your child. You get to make a home. You get to look after your family. There's a million things that are good about that. If you're a work from home mom like me, where you balance things, there are loads of good things about that. You get to be at home and you get to make money. Sometimes that's tricky. Sometimes you don't always get the balance right. But you know what? If you're doing your best and you're doing it with the best heart and you've made a conscious decision, not a decision that you got forced into by friends, family, society, but a decision where you went, is this going to work for me and my family? Then brilliant. And that is all it has to be. Because in this life, we have choices all the time. And even when it feels like we don't have those choices, you still do. But you've got to be alert to them. You've got to be awake enough to go, things have changed. I've become a mom. Things have changed, and whether you like that or you don't, you have to accept that and work out, there's a human being in my life now that I need to take care of. How can I take care of that human being, take care of me, take care of my family, and and bring money in so that we get to have a nice life together? And that's the only thing that matters. Forget other people's opinions, forget what you think you should be doing, because should is a load of shit and it doesn't matter, okay? Have a great day. If you have any thoughts on this particular topic, pop your messages below and let me know all about them, or tweet me at Holly Matthews. Don't forget to subscribe. I like to have you on here. Subscribe so you get to see things firsthand when they come up, and you get to comment straight away. And have a look on Channel Mom. Mom's the word. This is our topic for this week, and you can have a look at some of the other controversial debates on and all the other subjects that get us chatting. Go and have a look, and I look forward to hearing from you. Speak to you soon.